Ricard, Ramon, welcome to the forum. Thank you for talking to us today on CAP and land use and what governance is needed to deliver it. You are from DG Agri and as head of unit on policy perspectives. Of course, fragmented decision-making has often been the criticism of policymakers that it's a complex world, sometimes almost complicated into failure. But what progress do you see when we're talking about the context of CAP, land use, and the governance that's needed?
Yeah, I think we are really making a good progress on the governance. In fact, a bit more than 1 year ago, we put on the table our vision for the future of agriculture and food, which is really the document which shapes the direction of travel. It's the roadmap for all the different actions that the Commission will put on the table in the next years. And this is also the building block for a consistent governance for the overall agricultural and food sector. This vision shapes what different initiatives. It tells us what we are going to, and in fact, what we are going to put on the table. And we already delivered a good part of it. Around 60% of the initiatives have already been put on the table or are being implemented. In the discussion, also for us, it's very important to raise, to show that this vision, it shows that the CAP is part of a broader process. And we can talk about the CAP, but the CAP is interlinked also with many other policies. And the real added value of this vision is to put the CAP in this context where it plays together and we can really advance on the synergies, on better consistency, on really the complementarities of different policies.
It's good to hear the progress being made, but of course uncertainties with the budget is always a theme. How much of an obstacle is that?
Yes, I mean, here there are uncertainties, but there are also certainties. So we put on the table a budget which is very ambitious and where there is a minimum level for the income of the farmers of 299 billion euros, which is the minimum. Now, also in the last months, this has been also already complemented with 10% for the rural areas and the possibility for member states also to put upfront 45 billion on the top of the 294. So we are in a moment where, based on the proposal that the Commission put on the table, there is already quite a solid budget where more or less we keep the level of the budget for the CAP at the current level. Of course, there is an important margin for member states, which are the ones which will shape the new national and regional plans and which will take the ultimate decisions on the allocations of the money. But we think we are in a very good basis.
What did you hear on the panel today and in the forum? What did you hear that you agree with? What did you hear that you might disagree with? But how do the voices come together to shape the argument?
No, in the discussion I heard concerns about the budget, concerns about some innovative changes. Of course, the fact that the CAP is put together under a single fund and where there will be some decisions to be taken by member states.
It's a big worry for a lot of people.
This is a worry for a lot of people, but we think it's an opportunity. And we think that it will allow us to really develop a lot on synergies. It also gives us the possibility also to find opportunities for the agriculture and for the farming sectors. In fact, today we should not forget that there is a fragmented approach regarding European funds. And now in the future, it's a single fund. And then member states will be able to plan in advance particular actions, particular initiatives in a much more consistent way. So we think that in that domain, we are optimistic and we think that we will conclude with a very positive outcome.
You work with farmers, not against farmers, but do you listen to farmers carefully?
Yeah, of course. The Commission is listening constantly, the farmers and all the different players across the food chain. And this is one of the elements which came in the discussion because there were some references about the new multiplicity of new projects that now we are putting on the table, which in fact, it's projects that we do because came from the farming community. 2 years ago, we had a very important exercise, which was the strategic dialogue on the future of agriculture. In this strategic dialogue, we managed to have around the table all the different players, not only the farmers, but different players across the food chain and civil society and different farming organizations, which agreed on a roadmap. And afterwards, in our vision, we are basing ourselves on many ideas, many projects which came from this strategic dialogue. And that's why now we are working on different initiatives which we discussed in the debate. For example, the on-farm sustainability compass, which is a tool suggested by the farming community, which is a tool which will help the farming community to better measure sustainability at farm level and better face the multiplicity of standards that we have on sustainability. This is just one project which needs to be put together with all the other initiatives. And another project which we discussed today, it's very important, it's the Land Observatory. And the Land Observatory, it was also a request from farming organizations, from the European Parliament, the need to have a platform where we can really share experiences across member states, across stakeholders, all together on how to better guarantee the access to the land, in particular for the young generation, but at the end of the day, we need to have a more transparent market and also facilitate decisions regarding the land markets. So we think that this Land Observatory, which again is based on participation of stakeholders, we already published and we are now launching the expert group, which is where there will be many organizations, many farmers who will fit into this discussion. So all these different initiatives are done bottom-up, are done in constant dialogue, because that's the only way we think we can really work all together.
Yeah. And so to bring together voices today, that cohesion, that collaboration, that communication that you've talked about, how important is the forum?
Yeah, the forum, I think it's a great opportunity to hear different voices, which do not necessarily need to agree, but that precisely show different approaches. And one important element which comes quite high in this forum, and today it was quite clear, and also in previous editions, is the need that we should not confront, and we should not confront stakeholders, we should not confront objectives. On the contrary, agriculture is a sector which requires a good cooperation to facilitate that we advance on competitiveness and profitability, while at the same time advancing on the sustainability. Sustainability and competitiveness go hand in hand. And the forum and today came quite clearly in the discussions. It's a platform where this approach comes quite clearly.
Ricard, Ramon, thank you very much for sharing with us today. Enjoy the rest of the forum.
And thanks to you for the discussion.
Thank you.